In a world filled with fast cars and luxury machines, there exists a legend that rises above them all. A car so rare, so beautiful, and so powerful, that it didn't just break records, it redefined history. This is the story of the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupe, a machine born from the fire of motorsport and the genius of German engineering. A car that became the most expensive ever sold. The story begins in the mid-1950s, a golden era for racing. Mercedes-Benz was dominating tracks around the world, their silver arrows cutting through the competition with speed and precision. At the center of this racing empire stood a man named Rudolf Uhlenhaut, a brilliant engineer and the technical director of the Mercedes-Benz racing division. His mind was the force behind some of the most iconic cars of the era, and his dream was to take race car performance and put it on the road. Mercedes had already created a monster for the racetrack, the 300 SLR. Based on their championship-winning W196 Formula One car, the 300 SLR featured a 3.0-liter inline-8 engine that roared with over 300 horsepower, built into a lightweight magnesium alloy body. It was the car that carried Stirling Moss to victory at the 1955 Mille Miglia, a 1,000-mile race across Italy, finishing in a record-breaking time that remains unbeaten. But while the world applauded the 300 SLR on the track, Uhlenhaut envisioned something more. What if that same power, that same engineering marvel, could be driven on the open road? What if there was a version of the 300 SLR built not just for speed, but for style and sophistication? So Mercedes-Benz built two prototype coupes. These weren't for sale, and they weren't meant for production. They were special projects, crafted with extreme care and unmatched attention to detail. And when Uhlenhaut laid eyes on them, he claimed one for himself. It wasn't just a prototype anymore, it was his personal car. The car became known as the 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupe. Imagine a machine that looks like a jet fighter with wheels. Long and low, wrapped in polished silver, with gullwing doors that lift up like the wings of an eagle. Inside, it was stripped down and purpose-built. There was no radio, no luxury, no air conditioning, just raw, mechanical precision. It was loud, it was fast, it was like driving a thunderstorm. Uhlenhaut drove it everywhere. In fact, the car was so fast that he once made the 137-mile journey from Munich to Stuttgart in just over an hour, a journey that even today takes twice as long by car. In the 1950s, when average cars barely touched 100 kilometers per hour, Uhlenhaut was doing nearly 300. The engine under the hood was a masterpiece, a 3.0-liter straight-8, producing 310 horsepower. It could hit 60 miles per hour in under 7 seconds and had a top speed close to 290 kilometers per hour, faster than anything else on the road at the time. The chassis and suspension were directly lifted from the race cars. Everything about this coupe screamed performance. But what made it truly unique wasn't just its speed, it was its rarity. Only two were ever made. One remained in the hands of the Mercedes-Benz Museum in Stuttgart. The other disappeared into the company's private collection, unseen by the public for decades. Then, in May 2022, something happened that no one expected. Mercedes-Benz made the decision to sell one of the two Uhlenhaut coupes. It was an unprecedented move, a secret, invitation-only auction held by Sotheby's in London. The automotive world held its breath as whispers spread. This wasn't just a car sale. This was history in the making. The winning bid came in at €135 million, that's around $143 million USD, or £114 million. The 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupe became, by far, the most expensive car ever sold. It shattered the previous record and secured its place at the top of the automotive pyramid. But this wasn't just about money. Mercedes-Benz didn't sell the car for profit. Instead, the funds were pledged to create the Mercedes-Benz Fund, a global initiative focused on scholarships and education in sustainability and decarbonization. The sale of a historical masterpiece was used to shape the future of the planet. To this day, the buyer of the car remains anonymous. All that's known is that the car is in private hands, lovingly preserved and hidden from the world. The second car still sits in the museum in Stuttgart, and perhaps it always will. No matter how many modern hypercars come and go, whether it's the Bugatti La Voiture Noire, the Pagani Huayra, or the Koenigsegg Jesko, none carry the myth, the history, and the soul of the 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupe. This car is not about carbon fiber or digital screens. It's not about artificial intelligence or driving modes. It's about purity, passion, perfection. Every detail on the car tells a story. The swooping lines were designed for aerodynamics long before wind tunnels were common. The gullwing doors weren't just stylish, they were necessary because of the high side sills needed for chassis stiffness. The exhaust note is a symphony of raw mechanical fury, unfiltered and unmuffled. And more than anything, the car represents a man, Rudolf Uhlenhaut. A man who lived for innovation, who built machines that didn't just win races but inspired generations. The car that bears his name is a monument to his vision. In the world of collectors and enthusiasts, rarity is everything. A car with a production run of 500 is considered special. A car with just 50 units. That's a unicorn. But a car with only 2 examples, one of which may never be sold again. That's a holy grail. The Uhlenhaut Coupe is the Mona Lisa of the automotive world. It's not just a car, it's a masterpiece. A combination of art, engineering, and legacy that may never be repeated. And so, as it rests in a private collection, hidden from the public eye, the legend only grows stronger. Every now and then, rumors surface, whispers of it starting up, of it being driven for a few quiet minutes in some secret location. But mostly, it remains still, preserved, revered, because some machines are not made to be used. They're made to be remembered. And the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupe will never be forgotten. Dash dash dash.